Or higher.
Howdy. Yep, there it is.
Ryan, is it crackling? Is it crackling over there?
Hearing you, Mickey. Come on, talk to us.
All right. All right. Hello and welcome to episode 32 of Carvers and Creators, a weekly demonstration and discussion with pumpkin carvers, sculptors, and multi-talented artists. We humbly ask that you please consider giving us a like and a follow on the platform that you're watching us on. And please let us know in the comments where you're watching us from and if you have any questions for the carvers and our special guest. My name is Michael Mondragon. I'll be running the show, moderating comments, and chiming in from time to time. Let's meet the carvers. First, he is an artist and sculptor from Boston, Massachusetts. He is a 2019 champion of Food Network's Outrageous Pumpkin, Paul Dever. Welcome.
Hey, happy Thursday, everybody.
Welcome.
Right on.
Hey,
Thanks for being here. Next, he is a multimedia sculpture artist from Tucson, Arizona, and a finalist on Halloween Wars 2019 on the Food Network, Matt Harper.
Buenos dias.
Well, buenos dias. Our guest today is an accomplished chainsaw carver and wood sculptor from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Please welcome the talented Ryan Villiers. Welcome.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Wow. And we have a lot to talk about. We have some incredible work from Ryan.
Crazy,
and one thing I did notice about this picture, your hand is actually on the actual saw part of this. And it always, my eye goes right to it. Which always makes me. I'm afraid of chainsaws, so I can't wait to hear more about how chainsaw safety.
Yeah, if I remember.
Well, let's actually look back at last week. Actually, Matt's mom actually came up with this to say, hey, we should definitely look back at what you guys carved last week. And I'm telling you, when we've done this, I didn't even see any of these until I put them up here on this deck.
Thanks a lot.
You guys killed this one. I mean, like, you guys went. I mean, these are amazing. I mean, I'm saying that only because I'm here every week and I love you guys. But like, these are like exceptional. Like Matt, like the fact that you put the type on top and the yawn. It's amazing. And even the mask on there, amazing.
Yeah, the theme was a drowsy superhero, and so I had to find I got the little curl, but I didn't want to go full on Superman, so I went with kind of a quintessential mask, and then I had literally this whole space because it was super light. I had a squash that was like this big, so I had all this space. I was just gonna lop it off, and I'm like, well, I got to do something with it, so I made it kind of yawning. I'm not 100% with how it looks yawning. Although one thing I was showing my daughter the picture who was at college. I'm like, hey, take a look at this. What do you think? And I wasn't finished with it. And she like yawned a couple times. I'm like, okay. If you see somebody who yawns and you start yawning, then, so it kind of, it's okay. But anyway, and then I thought of you, Mickey, when I was doing the type, the Z's in there to make it look a little bit more cartoony, like a comic book. But yeah, I'm pleased with it. I'm just not super happy with the yawn, but it is.
I think you have a lot to be proud of. This one's amazing. Amazing.
I fought back 2 yawns while he was explaining it too. Seriously, I was looking at him like it's working.
Everybody dropped off the chat during the explanation. That's awesome and great work. I mean, I love it so much. And then Paul comes in and kills this one. Like, oh my God, like this is nuts.
I don't know if I killed drowsy though. I don't know if I got him.
I still pick up drowsy.
Okay.
Hell yeah. He's got heavy eyes, but dude, Paul, that is the smoothest one I've ever seen you do.
It's insane.
I was like a DJ with the emery pad just.
That is cool. It is so. When I saw that, I'm like, oh shit! I guess I better not post one this week.
Oh,
that was like It was amazing.
Yeah,
love it.
Too kind. Thank you.
No, it's super good. And obviously the wheel is actually pushing your creativity. So Ryan, I'd like to introduce you to the hollow wheel, the center spinner, and that will decide what we carved today. You're not carving with us, or did you get your plum that you were gonna?
Sorry, it's crackling there a little bit.
That's okay. Did you get your plum that you're gonna carve? Oh, okay.
He ate his plum. He ate it. Oh yeah.
Well, let's get Paul in here, and he's gonna show what the categories are today.
Okay, so we had to change some things out because obviously we can't do another drowsy villain or superhero. So we've replaced a couple of things. We've added Cyclops, Viewer's Choice, and Circus Freak.
Yeah.
And Ryan was nice enough to give us a new emotion other than drowsy, and now we have perplexed. I like it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes, so I'm not going to have any anxiety. I'm not going to be perplexed this week that I'm going to get a villain or a superhero.
Wait, I got a question. I got a question for you, Paul. When you spin it, the Carvers and Creators logo is up and down, and it's front and center. Do you want to move it to a different spot when you spin it this time? Like maybe move it. I don't know. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. Like maybe start there, or start upside down, or yeah. I don't know. I'm the wheel. The wheel is its own crazy beast, but I just figured, maybe we try something different.
I agree. Because apparently I'm very consistent with the motion that I use. Because it goes to the same spot every time.
You'd be good on Price is Right.
Right, unless I got like whatever it would, like 10 cents.
$1. Yeah.
Yeah, I get $1.01. All right, are we ready to spin?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
That's a good spin. We have a demon.
Oh, a demon. Okay.
Demon that I like to add the D to the end of it.
Demon. Past tense demon.
Yes, an old demon.
And he is
demon.
Befuddled. Dear God, Paul.
What do you want? Dude, ain't me. It's the wheel. I just spin it. Don't shoot the messenger.
Ryan, when's the last time, Ryan, you sculpted a befuddled demon?
Wednesday? Thursday?
Yeah. Doesn't happen that often.
No. So now.
All right. So we have a befuddled demon. I'll put it in the chat what the topic is so we can refer back to it as we always do.
And Ryan, what's fun, Ryan, is a lot of people will carve these along with us. Or make them out of clay, or a lot of times out of the same type of, thing like this. So it's kind of fun to have a little, at least have something that's going to be a challenge. I think befuddled demon is a challenge.
Yeah, you think? First of all, I have to look up what befuddled actually means.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm befuddled. What is this?
Is that confused, or is that? What is
I think befuddled is confused. Hold on. Let's pull it up, shall we?
Come on, Google. Help us out here.
What would I do without Google? Certainly wouldn't spell things correctly. Befuddled. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely befuddled, unable to think clearly, confused, or perplexed.
There you go.
What? It's like Ryan knew.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So before
Ryan,
we get started, before we get started, we like to toast to our creation. So Ryan, did you get anything? What do you have north of the border there?
Sorry, say again?
Your drink. Your drink.
Oh,
you have your drink?
Yeah, we're just on H2O today.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, right.
After all that buildup, just water. Okay.
Nice try, comrade. I know it's vodka.
It's grain alcohol. Nicely done. Paul, what do you got?
Well, I am a local guy, so I'm going to go with the Sam Adams Golden Ale.
There you go.
Oh.
Very classic, simple. And I drank all my Allagash and whatnot and all my high-end beers over the weekend. So,
oh, you snob, you.
I am such a snob. You're right. Terrible.
Matt, what do you got?
I picked up from the Costco we go to here in Tucson has always a really good beer and wine and liquor selection, and I found this stuff called Salty Crew. It's
Coronado.
Coronado, yeah. the Coronado Brewing,
Yo.
which I lived in Coronado at one point in my life, but it's I've never had one, so hopefully it's not too salty. But they call it a boat beer,
Mm-hmm.
so it kind of harkens us to a time when it's not as effing cold out. So we'll be on a boat together. Although it's
the nerve of you, Matt Harper. But it's not so cold out, he said. What did you say it was 70 or something? Is that too cold?
It was like 78, 78.
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah.
Unbelievable.
Freezing temperatures there.
Shenanigans.
kind of like Ryan. What's your weather up your way? What's your weather today?
Today it's about freezing, but the last 3 weeks, we had a 3 week stretch of minus 30 Fahrenheit average. It was gross.
Yeah, I'm looking that up.
Yeah.
Wow.
No good.
Sorry, I apologize to a little here. You guys are so spackly, so I'll try to get it here properly and get in what I can.
Yeah, we'll work it out.
Yeah.
We'll work it
Okay.
out.
I can hear you fine.
So,
Yeah, we can hear you. I have a. By the way, that Coronado Brewing, Coronado is like one of my favorite breweries. So definitely, I have to check that out. Is it a lager, Matt?
It's a blonde ale.
Blonde ale. Okay, so that's perfect.
Just like me, I'm blonde.
There you go. Yes, on the inside.
Oh.
El Segundo Brewing Mayberry IPA. If you see these,
Nice.
These are good. Good West Coast beer. Yeah.
Any affiliation to the show?
I think they're making reference to it because they're in El Segundo. There's this or is it Long Beach? There's this. It looks kind of like Mayberry, but the city I live in is actually more accurately. It looks like Mayberry. It's actually a throwback. They actually have like little parades and stuff like that. Here, it's like just north of LA.
Okay.
So so it's all there. So okay, so you guys are gonna get started on your projects there. But I actually wanted to let's try to work out some of these things. See if Ryan can speak about some of his work. We gave you 5 minutes, but the 5 minutes went quick. There it goes. So speaking of beers,
yes, Norm.
Yeah. Ryan, tell me about this very famous bar patron.
Sorry, repeat that one more time.
Just tell me about Norm. Tell me about Norm. Tell me about Norm.
Okay, so a long time ago, I was a mechanic. I was a contract mechanic, and I traveled around. Anyways, there's a town about 2 hours west of me. He's worked with a guy, and he's got more money than he knows what to do with, and I guess he's got no friends, so he wanted Norm, and he still hasn't picked him up yet. He's paid for him.
Oh wow!
Wow, he's still there. How long ago was that?
Norm's had a second anniversary, I guess, / birthday in my garage last week. It popped up in memories on Facebook.
Now, what kind of wood is that?
I think that one was black poplar, I do believe.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Actually, his head right there. I just went to Lowe's, and I think I got 2x12s, and I put them through my planer because they're already kiln dried, and I laminated that together so the face won't crack.
Oh, okay.
And actually, right now I'm doing a project. I'm trying to do John Candy as Uncle Buck, and I'm doing the exact same process right now with that. But I'm putting in glass eyes, which has become a huge challenge. I haven't done it on a human face yet. Just the depths and perspectives of it. If you put them in, you carve something. You got to touch everything else. So trial and error. But today I got his face done, which I'm pretty happy with. Now I'm just getting onto his hat.
How are you going to do the brim of the hat? That's a challenge in itself.
Yeah,
look at that.
It's
Looks
super
just
cool.
Now, you're not doing this all with a chisel. Is this Dremels? Are there other tools that I need to know about to be able to, because it almost looks like clay, Ryan, seriously.
Well, thanks. I do. Well, obviously the bulk of it is done with chainsaws, different sizes, different size bars. And once you get down to the details, I have die grinders, Dremels, a lot of saber tooth bits, specialized bits for wood carving, and then a lot of sanding. And I get a new pair of fingerprints every time I do that because I scan my fingerprint.
That's when you go out and rob the bank.
Yeah.
The day after you finish a carving. Wow. Even the roll off of the top and bottom lip, I mean, that's impressive, man.
Yeah, and the chin, that is just beautiful. I mean, it's him. You can look at it and see it's him. I mean, even in this rough state. That's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, it doesn't even look like that anymore. When I first posted, that was probably my first attempt. I'm on my, I think, third or fourth now right now. Revising because guys, but that one there, people, when I post it, they say, that looks like Chevy Chase. And I went, oh, it kind of does a bit.
Yeah.
That's everybody's go-to when they don't know exactly who it is. They think it's Chevy Chase.
Yeah. That's go-to, I guess.
Now, John Candy was in SCTV. It wasn't at SCTV at one time in Edmonton.
That is correct. Yes, it was.
There you go. All right.
Wow.
Good night, everyone.
That
That's a walk-off right there.
was.
I used to watch
John.
SCTV as a kid. We'd watch SCTV with Rick Moranis and the gang. We wouldn't get it very often, but we'd get. Remember that, Mickey? We'd get SCTV.
It was eventually on NBC here, but the early episode that was actually pre that. The Edmonton years were actually not NBC years, so they're really actually kind of rare to find. But yeah, do you know anything about that, Ryan?
No, not too much.
Okay. Okay.
They did actually. They played the early SCTV reruns here. Probably, I'd say I was in high school, so in the late '90s. And that's probably the last time I ever saw it.
Yeah, I think. Oh, go ahead, Paul.
Was that the Mackenzie brothers? I'm trying to figure out if that's the show.
Yeah, it is. And,
Okay.
and do you know why they did the Mackenzie brothers? Because
Nope.
Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong. In Canadian television, they had to have a certain amount of Canadian programming within it, right? Are you familiar with any of that?
I'll say yes just to sound smart. But
Okay,
I
okay.
Really don't.
So, from what I know, it's like
If you're making it up.
the Canadian, this is all made up, so just go with me. There'd be a certain segment of Canadian programming, so that's what they did to fulfill the Canadian part of that. Which,
Nice.
which may or may not be true, but it sounds good, right?
Actually, there's a bronze sculpture of Bob and Doug Mackenzie in downtown Edmonton here that an artist just did from here, I think last year, and put in place by the arena. Pretty cool.
Oh, no kidding! That's awesome.
Google it by Rogers Place in Edmonton, Bob and Doug Mackenzie, and you'll probably be able to find it.
I'm gonna look that up in the background while. But I did. I mean, speaking of statues, that you have a famous statue here as well of a great American hero, of Rambo.
Rambo.
That's awesome.
That lovely lady standing there is my mother.
Mom must be so proud.
Who's that?
That's
What's
his
that
mom.
say?
Oh, it's your mom. Okay. I didn't hear that
Yeah.
part.
And I'm dressed very poorly because when we did the presentation in Hope, BC, before that, there was myself and 3 other carvers, and they set us up doing quick carves, putting on a show, so I had no time to change all. That's why I look like a grub in the way I'm dressed. That's my work clothes.
Wow.
They wouldn't allow me to clean up. They go, no, people want to see you like that. I said, okay, fine.
So
Where is this at?
Sorry?
Where is it at?
Hope, British Columbia.
Oh wow.
Is that where it was filmed?
That's where Rambo First Love is filmed, yes.
Oh, right
wow.
on.
Wow. Is everything I see there made of wood? I mean, the gun and everything.
Giggity.
Is everything I see there made out of wood? I mean, I'm seeing the gun. And is that you carved all of that?
Yeah, except the bullets are real bullet shells. I found a surplus army store in downtown Edmonton, and I bought 100 empty casings and 100 copper heads, and I pressed them in twice in my garage. Then I that strapping reed troughs, and they got all those holes in them.
Yeah.
Well, I got 2 strands of that on the backside with screws in it. So there's two bands, 200 screws I put in, 100 bullets, and 100 lead tipped ends, and then I wrapped it around them. It was
oh wow.
Yeah, as soon as
cool.
I got the commission, I thought he needed real bullets because were carvers.
Yep.
I imagine that would be easier than carving each individual one to perfection.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's oh my god, it's so cool. Yeah, so like how does somebody like say how do they come out to you and say, oh, we want a Rambo in the middle of this? Like how does that even come up?
So every 2 years they have an annual international carving competition. So they had it in 2019. They'll have it again this year. So in the middle of that competition, one of the committee organizers approached me and asked me if I want to carve this as a commission for their town. And how they saw that is my grandfather passed away in early 2018, and that was the first time I attempted to do a bust for him. And yeah, that's what they saw, and they liked that. So they asked me to carve Rambo after they saw my grandfather's head bust I did to him.
That's amazing.
Did you say that was the first
cool
time? You didn't say that was the first time that you had ever attempted it, right? After your grandfather passed away?
First time?
Sorry?
Was that the first time you attempted that?
So like just chainsaw carving in general, like a giant.
My grandfather? No, I was carving before, but that's the first time I ever attempted a human face bust.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry, it's crackling. I feel like you made it.
Oh, and don't worry.
No.
We'll work through it.
Well, you certainly figured out how to do portraits pretty quick. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of weird when you put your mind to it, as you guys would know what you can come up with, right? If you can withhold the patience and put the time in, and a few choice words and a few slip ups, it'll get you there.
Oh yeah, a few cut fingers and a few do overs. So it's a lot harder to do over with wood, though.
Yeah, I mean it's the epitome. I mean, I know you add. It's an additive in the fact that you get to add arms, you get to add the gun and that kind of thing. It's not just a single surface, but when you're inevitably at the end of the day, you are doing a subtractive medium where you can't, like especially a face. When it comes to doing a human face like Rambo's or John Candy or something like that, do you find yourself doing multiple? Like you get in, you make a mistake, you have to toss that one and start over, or is it just you just keep working into it?
I think I got the gist of that question. Without first thing I start big and I whittle my way in.
Yeah.
All different angles, right? And then I get to a point where I'm happy, I guess. I'm my worst critic, but yeah, I start big with different angles, different stuff. I did his head twice. I got the first mistake hanging up on my wall. I have a bit of a wall of shame. I put my mistakes up.
Nice.
So what happened was I was carving his eyelids, and it's cedar, so it's kind of like a spruce. And when you get close tolerances, it starts flaking away. So flaking away back and back and back, and then pretty soon, his head was on the back of his shoulders. Because I couldn't get it right, I kept whittling away. So after lots of stress, sleepless nights, I just whacked it off, carved a new head, and glued it up.
That's kind of nice. And you have the ability to just cut and put on. So do you have big, heavy like pulleys and stuff like that in your workshop, where you can lift arms and put up heads, or are you just kind of muscling it up there each time?
Oh, well, there are sizes, right? They're kind of average man size sculptures, so you can manhandle the parts into them. What I do, let's say I'm from here down, I carved them and then I flattened this part out, and I took big chunks and I glued them on. And to get them flat, I have a 3.5-inch planer and I plane them, so they get true flat, and then I'll drill holes
perfectly
in the.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, I was picturing in my mind when you take the two flat surfaces together. That's the only way to really get it to stay and not have a gap. Yeah, the planer is your friend. Okay.
Yeah, and then I'll get a dowel. I'll screw holes both sides, glue them together, set timber locks, let it cure, and then hold timber locks and start carving. But where I'm from, the timber is not big like it is in British Columbia or on the West Coast or the East Coast. We have really small numbers. So anything substantially big I have to do add-ons.
Okay.
So it's just what I came into, right, is to make anything I have to do add-ons, and that's just kind of how I came into it. And it helps a lot in competition as well.
Okay. Wow. So when you talk about curing, because we're dealing with a very temporary piece of produce, right? But when you talk about curing, is it taking it from a wet stage to a dry stage? Is that the curing part?
The glue part?
Yeah. When you described curing it, when you cure it, what does that mean? Heating it up to dry it out?
Okay. The glue you use is an expandable glue, kind of like a urethane glue. It's Gorilla Glue. It looks like syrup, and when it's applied with a little bit of water, it foams and expands. So it dries really quick. It dries quick. And you can carve it, you can paint it, whatever.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Beautiful.
Nice. So let me show more of. Well, Ryan, do you have any questions for Paul and Matt about what they do? I mean, you guys are. I mean, what they're doing. We were talking about the subtractive part of it. I mean, what you do is very subtractive, but also additive, depending on how you do it. Did you have any questions about what they do, what they're doing, or?
Yeah, like those little. It's just amazing what you guys do with such a small little piece of vegetable or fruit, without taking too much off, because you don't have too much landscape on there. I think you got to be a lot more precise than myself.
Well, Paul, go ahead, Paul.
What? No, I was just gonna kind of. I guess it's what you're used to, right? Like I look at your sculpture in wood and think you're using this honking tool that can chop a whole friggin' tree down, and you're making John Candy. Like that's some serious talent there. You know, at least I got little tools and I'm kind of working almost pencils. You know what I mean? When you think about illustration and stuff, it's what your hand is used to. You're using something that takes both arms and you have to see it symmetrically, and you're planing pieces together to get the entire piece, to build it up, to see the structure, and you have to sort of draw it on at angles, right? To know how to block it in. And I'm dealing with a light bulb.
Yep.
So I mean, I guess it's the same but different, right? We're working subtractive. Sometimes I add on, sometimes Matt adds on, but it's a little different. We do use the same glue though, Gorilla Glue, right?
Gorilla Glue. We use Gorilla Glue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not in our hair.
That's put that shit in everything.
Yes.
You can't get it off.
That's great.
So if you guys were to make a body, like say a full sculpture, you kind of do what I would do, right? Let's say you got a squash head, and let's say you want a pumpkin body, and you're going to carve that out. Would you just stick like a skewer or a rod to connect the heads in, and then glue them like I would?
Totally.
Dowel, yeah. Well,
dowel, a big piece of wood. I'm trying to see if I have anything that would be like appropriate. Oh yeah, you're right. A big chunk of wood dowel that would go on the bottom, and then we would do the same thing you do related to two flat surfaces. Like if we're going to do something like a nose that sticks out, it would have to be a planed flat surface attached to a flat surface to minimize that gap. I mean, to have it be completely flush. And then we just take, a little bit of glue, a little bit of, glue on there. And if it's small enough, you don't have to put a toothpick or a dowel in there. If it's really a bigger piece, then you want to support it. Like if you're doing an arm or a horn or something like that, you won't want to support it with a dowel. But in the case of what you're doing, the big wooden dowels are there for extra support, but the glue is kind of doing all the work, I think.
Right. Okay. So yeah, we pretty much do the exact same thing, just on different scales.
Exactly.
Yeah, and on a slightly different mediums.
Slightly.
So
Yeah, but maybe
if something's not working out for you, being that they're mostly vegetables, you just eat it or what?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
As I'm going, I chop away at the whole time. That's how you clean your tools. You just eat it right off.
Yeah.
I'm sure you don't do that. I mean, you can pick your teeth once in a while, but that suck to end up with splinters in your tongue. Bring up that picture again, Mickey. This was the first thing that Ryan that caught my attention from you, and I could not believe that was done in wood. That's outstanding.
Yeah.
That's
beautiful.
And you know what's funny is everybody does Sasquatch that does chainsaw carvings, right? Everybody does a Sasquatch. It's like doing a black bear. But this is hairy. That is perfect. Yep. I think, it didn't. Rick Baker even gave you kudos on it, didn't he? Thought I saw that.
Yeah. Sorry,
that Rick.
Like I got a fraction of what you said there, sorry.
Did Rick Baker commented on this one, right?
Yeah, he did actually. Yeah, it's pretty shocking.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually. Yeah, he was. Believe it or not, he is from the bottom of his feet to the top of his head. He's 8'4". No, 8'3". I put on the platform. He's like 8'5".
Wow.
Now, I have a ton of pictures on my phone of the process of all gluing. I don't know if I put them on my social media, but his arms, let's just say his arm that's standing by, that's 3 separate pieces. From his shoulder just to about the middle of his joint there, his forearm to his hand, and then his hand is separate. His legs are 2 pieces, and his feet are 2 pieces. Just get them out there like that. On his face, the bottom, I'd say the third of his beard, that's an add-on too. Just to get that overhang draped over his chest. Because what I did there is his head is just block, and I carved his head at eye level on his torso before the legs up. So everything was eye level when I was carving. And then I painted him. I painted him eye level because once he's inked up in there, that'd be difficult to airbrush him. So he was all painted. Then I hoisted him up. Then I put on the legs and did everything else.
Wow.
And
how much the way?
If you notice his trap too, I had to do traps on just to achieve that. And I don't have any pictures of his back, but the hump in his back, I had glue wood on there too. He just to get the growth out of him. It was if I had the proper size wood, I'd probably save myself weeks of work.
That's amazing. What are the eyes? Are the eyes? What are the eyes made?
Sorry?
The eyes.
The eyes. What are the eyes?
The eyes. The eyes are actually taxidermy eyes. They're actually human eyes. I get them from, where the heck do I get them from? I think Arkansas, I order them. There's a taxidermy outfit down there. And that's where I order the eyes. So I got the eyes, and I have a 2-part epoxy putty that you mix together. And I think there's a chemical reaction until it hardens. But yeah, I put that in there and sculpted it with clay. It's the same process I'm doing on Uncle Buck now, John Candy.
Cool. It just gives it such a different dimension. It's so cool.
Yeah.
How much did it weigh? I gotta know. How do you move that?
If I guessed, I'm gonna say anywhere between, I'd say 7 to maybe 900,000 pounds, something like that. If it fell on you, I think it would kill you. It wouldn't hurt you. It's ridiculous. It's made out of hardwood. I usually carve out of spruce, which is a very light wood, but this one, it was the bigger log I had, and it made out of ash, so it's a very dense hardwood. And it makes it way heavy.
Wow.
Hey, and Ryan, where is this sitting now? Where can someone go see this thing? Where is?
Right now it's sitting exactly where you see it in this picture. The customer had ordered him and ordered Uncle Buck. So same place. There's a restaurant just south of me, about an hour and a half. They ordered both of them, so I'm going to deliver them both at the same time.
Wow.
That's super cool.
And they're going to be in somebody's home?
No, a restaurant.
A restaurant. Okay. Wow.
That restaurant or bar must do really well to commission 2 giant sculptures like that.
Yeah, it's at first they wanted a standing grizzly bear. Harry was supposed to be a bear at first. Then they changed their mind to, well, how about a Sasquatch? And then it evolved into, well, let's do Harry.
Of course.
Why would
body position wise, we went with the classic, classic picture everybody knows, of Sasquatch walking, the old picture.
The walking, exactly.
That's where the body came from. That body position.
Wow.
Yeah, that's perfect for Harry.
Yeah, it's really wonderful.
The eyes really sell it. Like you said, the human eyes, and that's kind of the whole thing with Harry, right? Is he had that human, that he'd give the dirty looks and the big smile, and he had that human face. You nailed it. It's awesome.
It was pretty tricky.
I have a funny story. When I was a lifeguard in Phoenix growing up, I'm 6'6", so I was a big dude, and I was a lot taller than the lifeguards that I worked at this pool in Phoenix. And one of the other lifeguards convinced the younger kids who wouldn't listen, the bad kids, that I played the Sasquatch and Harry and the Hendersons, and they were like, really you did? And I'm like, yes, I did, and I also played I was the Predator. I was like, I just started naming off all these things where tall people were involved, and it got them to at least behave enough around me to get them to believe that I was inside the Harry suit. But I looked at that, I'm like, it just brought back memories of when I used to lie to little kids at the to keep them in line as a lifeguard.
That was a creepy ass sentence for a minute, Harper.
Yeah. All good.
Well, Matt, you actually did this to me twice. You actually had me convinced that a neighbor of yours had Michael Jackson at his birthday party. I was convinced that Michael Jackson came to his birthday party. Turns out it was an impersonator, but the story you said was so convincing. You also told me that there was a baby that we had met about the time that World According to Garp just came out. Do you remember that?
With Robin Williams?
Yeah, Robin Williams. But there was the opening scene is like this baby being tossed in the air, and you had me convinced that a baby that was over at your house one time was the baby in World According to Garp. I believed it. Hook, line, and sinker.
I'm a bastard. I don't know what else to say.
We did have a question about to ask Ryan about his mammoth tusks, which I will actually bring up right now.
Hello.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So Ryan, please pontificate on this. Please tell us
about it.
Right. This is the story on that one. So there's a picture that hanging on the wall with a gentleman standing underneath it, just to give your perspective. He was 6'2". Anyways, he was a childhood friend of mine I went to school with, and he lives out on a farm, and he had found a mammoth tusk in his field last year.
No way.
And the local museum, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's massive too. Those things are huge. So long story short, he wanted a mammoth. Now he's a big time game hunter, but he wanted something unusual. And on the financial end, he doesn't have any kids, so he just spends his money on ridiculous stuff. And yeah, I got a cool commission. Now the trunk itself, I'd have to go back to my pictures, but that was a straight log, and I cut angles of them and flip them around so I get that S look. So I think that was about 5 sections, and the tusks themselves were 2x8s. I glued together, and then I just come up in sections, flip them over so I get kind of like that rough shape you see there, and then I just go ahead and carve it, try to be as accurate as I could. So, and those laminated his tusks. Everything else was made out of spruce, and backboard is old age growth red cedar.
Wow.
I did put glass eyes in him too with pretty little eyelashes in Walmart, but you can't see that.
Holy moly. Unbelievable.
It's absolutely beautiful. I mean, yeah. I mean, the composition of what the mount you put it on that old spruce is ridiculously beautiful. Because I mean, you could have put it on a trophy like you would for another, animal, but it looks ancient that way. To be on that log the way it is. It's beautiful.
I want to know how the hell you hung it on that wall.
Pardon me.
How did you hang it on the wall?
Oh, geez, there's 5 of us, and we barely got it up there. The bottom of that tusk is probably just over 6 feet off the floor. So we had the contractor that built the addition in his house. He showed up with all his heavy duty platforms and ladders to hold the weight and stuff, and all of us climbing up. Yeah, 5 of us hang that. And we barely got it up. We got to a certain point on the platform, and it was okay, boys, ready? On count of 3, 1, 2, 3. It's all or none. If we didn't get it, it was going down, and it was very stressful. We put him up. We hung him up without his tusks in, so the tusks wouldn't get in the way. They're just held in by a handful of screws. So the tusks were out. We put him in, and I put the tusks in once it was mounted.
Okay.
Still, that looks awfully heavy to be on a wall.
Oh yeah, it's reinforced. I think the wall was made out of 2x6 or something. So the contractor, like I said, built that addition. He knew exactly where to screw it through the wall, and that's where he got it. So.
Thank God.
Oh yeah, it was stressful. I owed a few guys some beer after that.
So Ryan, what's your background? Like, did you go to art school? Are you just said, hey, I'm just going to or were you a logger? Or I don't know. Like how did you start?
No, I grew up on a buffalo farm, cattle, horses, all that. By trade, I'm a heavy duty mechanic. I did doodle and draw as a kid. I did good in art school. I wasn't a phenomenal artist. I can't really draw. And then there's a show up here. I'm not sure if you guys saw it, called Carver Kings. It was a spin-off of a show called Timber Kings, the log home building company in British Columbia. And I saw these guys do the chainsaw carving on TV, and it was really intrigued by it. And I bought my own chainsaw and started messing around on every remote I got, and here we are.
Wow.
Eventually, I hated my occupation big time. I couldn't stand being a mechanic. And then there was a point in time where I was taking 2 to 3 days off work, and eventually they got sick of it, and they helped me stay home permanently. I don't blame them. I would have hurt myself too.
That's awesome.
Life's short to do something that you don't want to do, right? So
that's it.
That's it.
Make best of it. And here we go.
That's 100% right. Yeah, that's.
Yep.
Paul and I are hoping for that day too, when work slows down. At the same time, art creeps up, and we can make that break. That's like the artist's dream. So that's fantastic.
So we're about halfway through. Ryan, I'm going to actually have you do something. I'm going to actually have you leave the studio and come back in. Do you see the little thing that says leave studio and come back in? So maybe that'll help kind of reset the audio.
So hit what button?
So go leave studio and then come back in. You'll have to log back in.
Thanks a lot, Mickey.
Sorry, had to break up the party.
It's like
this is the part of IT that I don't like.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it improves our user experience,
Yeah.
UI, UX.
So Ryan, I'm actually gonna put you out, and then you come back in. Yeah. Let me go out. I'm gonna kick you out, but you can come back in same way you got in.
Fix the audio. Hopefully.
There we go. There we go. Yeah. Oh, so Paul, I wanted to show you my I'm representing.
Boy.
Yeah, I got this across the street from Fenway Park. God, like 10 years ago.
Oh, at the gift shop, the giant gift shop, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly. I actually, and weirdly, I got somebody a Red Sox baby pacifier that I never gave them. How about that?
I wonder why.
How about that? I would give it to you, but you don't have any more babies.
No, knock on wood. Baby days are done. My babies aren't even babies anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, they just had a birthday yesterday, yeah?
Yeah, my oldest is 12.
Holy Moses.
Right? He's like, hey, Dad, how's it going, Dad? This thing I don't want to stand. This is tougher than I thought.
Upside down? Or?
No, just the demon feet, kind of.
Yeah. I know, I'm struggling with it a little bit.
Yeah, I figured you'd like that. Yeah.
We're oh wait a minute.
Look at that.
Nice. Look at that shirt that matches the logo there. Balcony chatter.
Balcony chatter.
Chatter.
Yes.
I was just reminiscing about so down that road, it's not on Yawkey, it's on the other one. There's like a Gold's Gym that used to be right there. Weirdly, there's Ryan. So hopefully it'll be better. But there's a Gold's Gym right there. But then there's a place to eat right there. And I remember going in there. I think it was after. Oh, no, it was before the Sox game. And I really wasn't hungry, but my friends were having like nachos or something like that. But my friends weirdly wanted some champagne. So I asked the waitress, what champagne pairs well with nachos. I got the stone face look of all time. The waitress didn't have any of it. How's the audio, Ryan?
A lot better.
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sleek. That's very sexy there.
Yeah, that's better.
I couldn't make anything out you guys were saying before.
Oh, okay. Both sides. I couldn't figure anything out.
And you can now.
That's it.
Yeah, there's the odd crack like when we first started, before we started the show, but yeah, there was a point there I couldn't even hear any of you guys.
Well, in fairness, I've been making popcorn in the back, and I've been doing that bubble wrap. I've been popping the bubble wrap the whole time.
That's what it sounds like.
I was tap dancing the whole time too.
Yes, and actually, Melissa, my girlfriend, actually says, the Boston Beer Works is right there across the street from.
So a lot of people aren't into blueberry beer, but if you get a blueberry beer at Boston Beer Works,
that's why we went there.
Outstanding.
Yep.
It's like a gallon of blueberries. There's barely any beer. It's all blueberries.
Yep. And they go up and down in the beer. It's tremendous. Ryan, are you a baseball fan? I know Edmonton used to have the Edmonton Trappers in the Pacific Coast League.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now they change every
Oh wait,
years.
Whoa. 1 sec.
He's getting excited.
What about the Edmonton Oilers and the Edmonton? There's a lot of Edmonton teams up there.
Yeah.
We don't talk about the Edmonton Oilers in Boston. They broke our hearts twice at the Garden.
I think
I think we won the cup in Boston way back then.
You did. Yeah, you guys broke the air conditioning too because there was fog on the ice and you couldn't see what was going on. Then there was a power outage.
That was our last cup. Oh, how about that?
Look at that.
That's the old school one.
That's right.
That's a cool logo.
That is beautiful.
So there was a pretty decent hockey player from Edmonton, played for Edmonton for a while.
Then all of a sudden Los Angeles needed him or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
he was playing in the minors in Edmonton and then came up to LA. What a sad story that is. Did you ever see the story on that? I think there was a 30 for 30 on that. Man, they just couldn't afford him.
Yeah.
Oh, was that it?
Yeah, I think the owner at the time. Yeah, it was a financial decision to get rid of Wayne, unfortunately. But you know what? He's back in our organization now.
No kidding.
Yeah, he's been back here for a while, so it's pretty good. I think he commutes now. I'm not sure about COVID, but I know he commuted a lot between LA and Edmonton.
Yeah, because he was involved with the Phoenix Coyotes. So like Matt's in Tucson, and then we both grew up in Phoenix. So he was a part of the Phoenix Coyotes organization.
Yeah, he was. He didn't have a good patience span when he was coaching. Then he looked like he was always pissed off.
Yeah, just
Yep.
pissed. Yeah.
Yep. And he was a St. Louis Blue for like a one season.
week.
Yeah,
For a week. Yeah.
Edmonton, LA, New York, and St. Louis.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of players like that. They like have 1 year. I always say he's the greatest St. Louis Blues player ever.
I wonder what Hull would say about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like Emmett Smith, one of the greatest running backs of all time for the Dallas Cowboys. He played with the Arizona Cardinals for like one season. I said he's the greatest Arizona Cardinals running back ever.
That one might be true.
Yeah, that's actually very true.
Well, now we got a young guy named Connor McDavid. Not sure anybody knows who that is anymore. Right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, good luck to him.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah, Mickey looks forward to welcoming him in LA.
Yeah.
Right.
When they steal him, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally.
Lord.
Well, speaking of sports, we got to make mention of Don Cherry here, the Hockey Night in Canada.
That's cool.
Now, Paul, did you know this? This man played for the Boston Bruins, but never played he only played one game with the Boston Bruins, and it was in a playoff game, but yet he coached the Bruins to 2 Stanley Cup losses.
Really?
Don Cherry did?
Yep.
How do you know all this stuff? You're like a savant. It's amazing. You know everything.
Montreal beat them both times for the cup too.
Easy, you're Edmonton, all right? You can't rub in Montreal.
You know what? I'll take any team other than the Flames. I can't stand Calgary Flames.
Oh, okay. What's the heat with Calgary?
Well, they call it the Battle of Alberta, right? They're in the same province as us. They're only 3 hours south of us, so that's our nemesis. They used to have a huge rivalry in the 80s, and now that both teams are doing decent, it's kind of reignited. Our goalies had a fight here last year.
Wow. Okay. So for those who don't know, Don Cherry is Ryan. Can you explain who Don Cherry is?
He's an old grumpy bastard. There's a lot about hockey, and he got booted. He used to play hockey. He coached a lot. He's kind of a Canadian icon when it comes to hockey and the traditional way of hockey. Unfortunately, they booted him off our airwaves a couple years ago because people got sensitive and out the old in the new. A lot of them said, I guess. So to each their own. I miss him. I miss him a lot, but.
Yeah, I remember there was some controversy about some stuff that he had said, but
Let me guess. The PC police stepped in and said something about. I mean, these guys are old school. You can't. It's just a travesty. Like you get guys who have such knowledge of the sport and have such depth of like relationships with everybody, and then they say one slightly off-color thing, and it's like now they're the devil. It's like anyway. I'm sympathetic to that because it's just so over the top, like PC love. Anyway, I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah, he's a character.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wood?
That's wood.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
So tell me more about this. I
will. So in the province next to us, Saskatchewan, in 2018, their junior A hockey team was going to a game, and a semi-truck pulled in front of their bus on the highway, and 16 of the players died, unfortunately. And at the time, I was still a mechanic, still carving part-time, and a friend of mine who owns a distillery up here, who I just met before this, I told him about this idea, what I wanted to do this, and long story short, in fruition, we kind of did a GoFundMe to raise funds to get the material for this. And yeah, I carved it and we put it together. That's all laminated poplar blocks. There was a guy who did it for us, laminated it, and yeah. So that was taken to Humboldt in Saskatchewan and resides there right now. It's in storage in pieces at the moment because they got to find a permanent place for it. But yeah, we did that for a memorial for them. That was a very, very in-depth emotional piece. That
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Wow, I wasn't even aware of that.
Yeah.
And where is this located in Saskatchewan?
Humboldt.
Humboldt,
Saskatchewan. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, just Google Humboldt, Saskatchewan, and all this will probably, like the bus crash and everything will probably come up.
Let me ask you about the beautiful curved wings, the way you have it. It's so flowing and so beautiful. Do you I guess in any of your sculptures do you spend a lot of time drawing up all of that, like not only how it's going to look sketching wise, but like where the cuts are going to be and how you're going to get specific pieces of wood in connection with others to add that up?
Yeah, actually, the gentleman, my friend there, I was telling you about, who owns the distillery, he's pretty artsy himself. He used to do handy toys. Anyway, he came up with the design of the wings himself and the feather patterns.
Wow.
And yeah, so the wing that's touching the ground, that's his. He carved probably 3/4 of it, and then he left on business and left me with the rest of it. But that's his design. He came up with that idea for the wings, and I think it's perfect what he came up with.
It is. It's beautiful. Yeah. It shows such motion, and like you know, with the stick in the air and they're about to do a slap shot, like the wings would be that way. It's like it's just tremendous. Anyway.
Yeah, thank you. It's those wings are 3 different pieces of wood blocks. It was
okay.
It was a logistical nightmare to fit those together.
I bet.
See, like on the ground, obviously his wing that's supporting the sculpture, and then the wing that's going up over the glass, we have that partition, that metal piece going into the wing. So, and then we have 2 metal dowels going into.
Oh
each
yeah,
stick.
it's holding it up. Okay,
oh,
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And then
you notice that.
What you don't, if you look just behind his back on the boards, and you see that horizontal piece, that's a piece with a flange on it screwed into his bum. So that's holding him up.
Yes. I would have never noticed that had you not said that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's the first thing to notice, Mickey.
What? You're you're looking too close.
Is that a metal pole?
I mean, it's really super cool. Yeah, and this could have been a lot different if it didn't have that kind of the dashboard there and the plexiglass as well. If you would have had it on its own.
This wasn't 100% my idea. I had the idea of the hockey player's stance, but there was about 4 or 5 different people in the mix of it. The hockey boards and the platform, that wasn't my idea. A buddy of mine built all that. There was a team of us that came together and we just made it up like that in the fly. It came out really well.
Yeah,
I couldn't have done this by myself.
Yeah, I noticed that when I was going through the pictures as well. That I mean, there's a lot of good contrast, so you actually can see it. I noticed on a lot of your pictures, it's sometimes hard to get that contrast with the background because of how ornate and intricate it is. You know, it kind of blends in with the background sometimes. So having like almost just like a neutral background, I mean, that's why this probably stands out so much to me.
Yeah, that's right. Most of my pictures I just have a small garage, so I've got an orange tarp I set up sometimes when I can, like to kind of block out the back. But yeah, it's hard to get anything anywhere and get a decent picture. And you're right, it looks a lot. Because in person they look way different, a lot better usually.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Wow.
Okay. Well, let's look at some of the carvings here. Let's see what you got.
I'm still blocking, man. Still blocking. Lots of blocking. I'm gonna end up doing, horns and teeth and demon-y type stuff, but for now,
you gotta get a face first, right?
Yeah, I was gonna go like real super, like not humanish face, but I kind of like getting into the details on the humany faces. So, humany it is.
Now that I can hear you, Paul, kind of, how did you get into this?
Almost the same exact way that you got into chainsaw carving, like verbatim. I saw a guy do it on a show called Halloween Wars and Outrageous Pumpkins, and I just thought it was amazing. He was doing stuff that nobody else was doing, and I just tried one. And was, you never give up on the first try. I was like, all right, so maybe I need different tools. Maybe I need this. Maybe I need that. Maybe I need to practice. And just kept doing it, started getting a little bit better. And then as things progressed, then, you know, I got on the show and met Matt, and here we are. Now we're all sitting together chatting.
Cool.
But yeah, it's just a hobby, man. It's such a fun thing.
Yeah, that's funny thing. Hey, a hobby where it can take you, like what a set of tools, imagination, and material can take you if you're decent at it. It's just
absolutely
takes us into a different part of what you would never experience in normal life, right? I've been. I've had so many cool experiences. Like, Sylvester Stallone when he tagged me on Instagram when I did Rambo. That would never happen if I had a regular job. You know?
Right.
It's surreal. I can't wrap my head around it. Yeah, that didn't happen, but it happened. It's pretty neat.
That's outstanding. Yeah, it's let's say I always say, like, you can get lost. You know what I mean? Once you start, you have the worst day ever, and you get down to start doing this, and it might be frustrating at first. Then all of a sudden, it's like I'm missing 3 hours of my life, and I'm having such a good time doing this. I'm not even thinking about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just lose yourself, right? Time doesn't exist when you dive into it.
Oh, it's awesome. It's therapy is really what it is. And that's really what brought Matt and Mickey and I together was when we locked down for COVID. Matt and I were doing it on Instagram, just kind of, you know, chatting with people and carving. And then we just started hooking up, carving together. And it was like, this is a no-brainer. We're having such a good time. And, you know, people were liking watching us carve. So it was like, let's just carve with all our friends right now. Everybody's stuck at home. Nobody has anything that they can actually go outside to do. So why not let's just keep doing this.
Yep.
Yes, COVID's created a lot of unique situations that otherwise wouldn't happen, right? So there has been positives that have come out of this.
Ryan, we get to spend time with you. This happened because of that.
Right?
It's like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry, Matt, how did you get into it? Now that I can hear you as well.
I very much the same way. I started carving with my kids, just doing, and I was kind of a perfectionist, and I wanted to get better each time, and trying to get to a point where instead of doing a jack-o'-lantern, I was doing a face, and then I saw Ray Villafaine's stuff and some of the other artists that were doing like legitimate sculptures, and I was like, well, if they can do it, you know, let me give it a shot. And the first couple of years, I was so proud of the stuff I did. And now I wouldn't show it to anybody. Like, I'm my own critic, right? I'm embarrassed by it. But now, like through tons of practice and to the point you made about just getting lost in it, Paul. Like, there's times where, like, therapeutic wise, it was just you spend like 3 hours on something and it's just gone by like a snap, and you haven't had a drink of water the whole time because you're so focused on what you see. That and now I can't live without it. It's like I have to find, for whatever reason, it's this medium, but I couldn't be happier about it because I get to meet, you know, guys like you and spend time with Paul and Mickey and do like these really fun, interesting things because it's at the end of the day it's the process. We talked about this on our little dumb show, but the process is, to me, as important as it is the final result. These rot very quickly. You know, you get rid of yours, they go to whoever commissioned you, and it's gone. And sometimes a couple of years later, but and it's gone. But it's a temporary art. And so if you just spend time enjoying the process and just loving the part of, I'm carving, the world is out there, I'm in here. That's the part that I love the most. But yeah, same kind of way you guys did it. Just fell in love with it, and now I just want to get better every time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to give pumpkin carving a go. I just get scatterbrained, and then all of a sudden I fall back into my wood carving.
I'm pretty confident you'd be pretty good at it.
Yeah. You would kill it. With just simple tools, little simple tools, you would just kill it. I'm sure, Ryan.
Oh, it'd be fun. You know I think it'd be fun. Well, I think it'd be a great time. Like ice carving I've never done, and that really doesn't interest me because in ice, it melts so fast.
Yeah.
And I realize you guys, when you're done, if you want to preserve them, can you fill up a jar with vinegar and put them in the jar to preserve them, or what?
All does, yeah.
This one is almost 2 years old. And I got another guy back here that we did on the show early on, and he's still in pretty good shape. I had another one I just got rid of that was in there for almost 3 years. That out in my living room space.
But that's
like temporary art.
The only way to save them, though, right, Paul?
What's that, buddy?
That's about the only way to save them, like physically.
You got it. Yeah. Well, if you want them, but if you take a really nice, you take a good picture, and they're there forever.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is coming along great.
Like, could you guys make it when you're done, make a cast of it or some sort if you really wanted to keep it as a physical specimen? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. We just last week's guest, right, Steve?
Yeah.
No, was it Steve? No, before Steve. It might have been Mike Regan. Because Mike Regan is a special effects guy, and he said the same thing. And we were like, well, I don't think there's really a good casting material, and we'd have to have it ready like right away when it's done. And he was like, Smooth On makes a silicone that you can brush on anything, wet, dry, anything. He's like, and you can just paint it on and make a plaster slush. Is that what he's calling it? Slush cast? Whatever he's saying. But he was like, you guys should just cast them. He's like, it wouldn't take much. You just paint on the silicone, couple coats, put some plaster around it, and then cut the back, and you're off and running. So I think that's the next step. I think that's what we're gonna start. I'm gonna start trying to do.
I'll do it with you, Paul.
Yeah,
I hope it makes a lot of good. I hope it makes good ideas.
This may sound stupid, Ryan, but I've never found one at the time I finished it that I liked enough to cast, and that's a dumb thing to say, but it's like I look at them later. I'm like, I love that one. I love this one. I wish I would have casted it, but when I finish with them, I have such a love-hate with them that I almost want to just like chuck it and I'll take a picture and I'll be done with it, turn away, leave it, let it just sit and rot. And there's something about it, but I think, Paul, like if we casted one, I think we'd end up being happy with it later. Anyway, but yeah, that's a great question, Ryan.
You guys just need to do it and get it over with.
I know. We got to break our cherry and do it.
You know what I find funny and on relation to pretty much every part, we all hate our work.
Yeah,
it's so true.
It's a common theme. It's a common theme every week.
And then you go back, like you said later, and go, oh, that ain't bad.
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah.
Yep. I'll even go back and go, how the hell did I do that? How did I get that little detail? What did I do? I wish I recorded all of them to see what I'm doing.
Yeah,
that's where I relate doing likeness carvings like Don Cherry, Rambo, and John Candy right now. You think it would be easier as you go. They don't. Like sometimes I feel like you're starting all over again. How the hell did I do that? What was I saying? I did that.
Yeah.
Oh, that one was easier than this one.
It's so true. Do you ever, or you're like, well, the magic's gone. Whatever I lost
it's
it.
over. It's over.
Yeah, I was ready to shove him in the freaking burn barrel. I had enough. I thought I lost it all. I was done. I said, screw this. I'll just go back doing whatever.
Yeah.
Picking balls, maybe.
But I mean, that's what they talk about, the tortured artist. It's like it's this whole thing. It's like it's a gift, but it's a burden, and it's like when but you guys are what you guys are probably not seeing is kind of the forest from the trees. It's all about a body of work. So we're lucky to be able to do art in general. So just do it and stop it. I'm gonna stop all you. I'm gonna scold all you. Just keep doing art. Just you guys will get through it. Well, I'll walk you through it. You guys are awesome. It's all good. Let's go. Let's get it done.
Thank you, Mickey. Thank you.
Right. All right. So, but there is that part of it's a very tenuous balance between like being praised and like needing motivation. Like, that's kind of okay. It's like, I'll show you. Okay. And I see it every week in these two, Ryan. Like, you can see the level of competition. I mean, we all seem like friends here, but they're very competitive against each other.
No. I like Paul.
Yeah, you like him, but you're in your work. Matt, your work has gone from like not. I mean, it was excellent. Now it's like you're doing things so fast right now. Like your level of quality is gonna. Yep.
He's leaving me in the dust right now. I'm still rough.
See, no, Paul, you're not going to take that line down. You.
All right, let's get back to our wonderful guest. Enough about us.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we're at a point, but I wanted to go through some of more of your work here, and I'm like,
this is insane.
How is that? That's insane.
That's clay.
Right? Is it?
That one would.
So I mean, like, how do you come up with your subject? I mean, do people commission you to do this, or you just do them on your own, or how does that work?
Well, first of all, bills need to be paid for whoever pays for it, they get.
Okay.
It's all commission mostly, yeah. I do once in a while. I'll just do a one-off carve, just appease my own eye and hold on to it, and hopefully someday it sells. But it's 99% of it's all commission based.
That's crazy.
So how do they find you?
Yeah, how do they find you? Obviously, Instagram, is that where they typically find you? Or do they go to
Facebook
shows?
Facebook?
Yeah, just social media, just Facebook.
Okay.
Instagram's not really good for me. I don't know why.
Okay.
Sales wise, yeah, it's all Facebook.
Interesting.
I honestly, Ryan, I found you on Instagram, and I stopped in my tracks. Like, how the hell do I not know who this guy was 2 seconds ago? Like, Jesus, like
Right.
next level type shit. I know I liked it when I think I've said this before. I get depressed when I see somebody's work, and I'm like, holy shit, how can I not do that? Like, that's amazing. It's like depressing good.
Right on this picture, that's hair on the horse's nose. That's a physical horse to me. It's like amazing the way you not only painted it, but the detail you put into it's just tremendous. We had Griffin Ramsey, who's a up and coming artist. We had her on the show too, and she does some stuff. And one of the things that was interesting is she goes to shows. And I think pre-COVID, right, there was all kinds of specific shows you could go to as a chainsaw carver. Is that where you tend to go around to those different competitions and stuff?
I do. I know Griffin quite well. Her and I are actually pretty good friends.
Oh, great. Okay.
Her and I competed together in Chetwynd, British Columbia in 2019.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Competition-wise, I've been to 4 of them. I don't really I don't go to a lot of them. They're really not steadily available around here. You got to travel extensively, and a lot of the carbon competitions are invite only.
Oh.
I guess you'd say I'm pretty new to this, as in the chainsaw carving world. I started as a hobby in 2017 in March, so coming on year 4. I started full time in June of 18, and just with no notoriety, I'm just clawing away, right? Crush fingers and hope it all works out. Still doing that to this day.
Yeah.
Hope it all works out. You know what I mean, right?
Wow.
I'm killing it all the way.
Not that long, and with no formal training, just dive right into it. That's it, man. That is the best. I love that there's just a talent that sits inside you, and one day you're like, let me give it a shot. Oh, look at me, I'm really good at it.
My thing, you don't say no. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Just go with it. Just do it.
Yeah, I love it.
You said that before too, which is that's why we brought on the wheel, really, was just to have that little bit of uncomfort, because we were preparing for the show, and we'd have something almost carved because we were like, oh, I had an idea. Let me roll with that. Now I'm comfortable with what I'm doing. So rather than carve anymore, it was, let's just do a wheel, spin twice. That way we go, I don't even have time. I don't even have anything to look at. I don't even have reference. Yeah. So yeah, at that level, get comfortable being uncomfortable is definitely the way to do it. It's the only way to grow.
Just wing it, right? You
right.
Put your best, but that's all you can do is just put your best into it. Who cares what other people think?
Exactly. And the thing I love about some of your work, I'm sorry, Ryan, I interrupted, but the faces you do, these dogs are amazing as hell. holy shit. But when it comes to like the note, like the Rambo face and the John Candy face and the specific people, that's where I always struggle is the actual portrait sculpture. When you look at the ones in process on your Instagram or Facebook, and you can see you can see the person emerging. It's like it's beautiful because it's, you know, in any subtractive sculpture, it starts with a rough, and then but even in a really rough form, you can see that's John Candy, that's Norm, you know, those type of things, and it's just that's a talent that's just currently eludes me. I want to get to the point where I can say this is that person, and somebody looks at it and without a doubt knows that that's, you know, Steve Buscemi or whoever the hell I'm carving, but you know that someday. But anyway, I wanted to throw that out there because I'm really enamored by that.
Look at that.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I get asked a bit like how I do the human face. I don't know how you guys, if you realize how I try to follow lines and shadows. That's the, you know, obviously every picture, let's say John Candy, I've got 200 pictures Googled to him, right? Screenshots. Every picture is different because every angle casts different shadows. But that's how I go about it. I just try to follow the shadows as best I can.
Yep. That's really the only way to.
This cougar.
The eyes are those eyes glass as well?
Yeah, actually, this guy here, he's on my kitchen table.
Oh my God. Wow.
That's cool.
Wow. That looks like a taxidermy piece.
It does. It looks. That's what I mean. This doesn't look like it's chainsaw. It almost looks like it looks like clay. It looks like it's actually sculpted.
That is awesome.
Super magical.
Wow. The muscles, the skin, the hair. Holy shit. I mean, holy hell.
Yeah. No, you have. Wow. That is bonkers. How did you carve the whiskers out of wood?
Yeah.
You know what? Those whiskers are out of my broom. I just plucked
broom
and I painted it white.
That's awesome.
Good move.
Do you paint? Did you paint as well?
Oh, yeah.
I do all the brushing as well.
Okay.
And then I don't know if you can see it here, but I did a taxidermy style horse. That's I used real mane. That's real horse mane.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
And I'll try to get a good shot here. Glass eyes. I went to Walmart, got eyelashes.
That's amazing.
Kim Kardashian needs those things.
The one-offs I do, just because I do them. So,
wow.
Unreal.
That is nuts. See, that might even be cooler than the basement. And the basement was cool as hell.
Oh yeah, you have all your. I shudder because I want to keep your internet as good as I can. But man, your workspace is actually very cool too. You have all those figures and everything. So we might have to make a return and I don't know. We'll send you a laptop so we can get you there. But yeah, like everybody is like loving everything that you're doing. There was actually one from let's see if I can find it on here. A pretty nice suggestion. Have you ever carved a Stanley Cup out of wood?
I haven't, but let's do it.
Yeah. I think that would be pretty cool.
Let's have Wayne holding it above his head too, you know.
Actually, we have a bronze statue of Wayne holding a cup over his head here at Rogers Place, where the others play in Edmonton. There's one right outside the building.
You can make your own.
That's bronze. We need wood. We need
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, there's wood.
That's right.
There we go. Bronze is all, you know, that's too permanent.
Yeah, right.
Wood's pretty permanent too, Matt.
Outside in Alberta, Canada, you know, I mean, you know.
So I wanted to go through some of my last slides here because we're up to an hour 20. I mean, like this is crazy. I mean, this is the home security system. You can have these all around your house, and like no.
He was the first. When I do him just last year, he was the first one I attempted with glass eyes and taxidermy style kind of bases. So I messed around with foam rocks, and then I went to Michael's and added vegetation and all that stuff.
Wow.
Because I went down to in December 2019, and I went to, I think it's Paso Robles in California.
Oh yeah, I know what it is. Yeah.
Okay, do you know Daniel's Woodland?
Oh, you blew me out of the water on that one. I know where Paso Robles is. I don't.
Okay, Daniel's Woodland. They build like shooting galleries, Disney-esque type of themes.
Oh, okay.
They do a lot of carving down there and stuff. And anyways, he gave me the inspiration to start this taxidermy style stuff because he does a lot of different stuff outside the box.
That's amazing.
I mean, it looks like taxidermy. Yeah.
I'm actually going to stop this because I want to share this. It's actually I was wondering if this was it. You got to see this, guys. There we go. Yeah, so I mean, this is a lot of the stuff.
That's the guy.
Yep, the guy in the cowboy hat. Those guys are brothers. The guy on the right, he's more about the business guy up front. John is the guy in the cowboy hat. He's the guy I hung out with. Creative man, just an awesome guy. He's like, how old's John? He's got to be mid-late 40s. He acts like a 12-year-old, just like me.
Yeah, I think just like all of us.
All of us, yeah.
This is the stuff from like California Adventure and stuff like that, and Disneyland, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure how much they have in Disneyland, but they're pretty much their own mini Disneyland. It's pretty amazing what those guys can do down there.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, that is cool.
Very, very, very creative and very, very smart. Those two.
Wow, the Monkey Mansion. I love it.
That sounds like my house.
That's right. We call it the Monkey Mansion.
Don't ever show my kids that; they'll expect too much.
Yeah, right.
Why is my clubhouse square?
Cardboard box.
Yeah, right. My clubhouse is shit. Tear it down.
So let me. I'm gonna reshare this real quickly and get. Here we go. Yeah.
Wow.
So insane.
The movement. It's like every time I ever go up to like Colorado, I live in Arizona, so every time I go to Colorado or Utah or whatever, you drive by these areas that are up in the woods, and inevitably they'll have the bear going like this, with the one arm up, like the standard chainsaw bear. I think that's like a template that everybody in preschool gets in chainsaw preschool, but. But when it comes to this, not only is it painted and beautiful, but the movement that you can see between, it looks like the talons are going to squish in on that fish, and he's going to take off, and it's just, and that's wood, and it's a completely another level related to me. And again, I think of how this started, right? A big block of wood or pieces of wood in a chainsaw, and to make it into this that looks like almost a clay. Anyway, I'm completely impressed and I'm blown away by this, Ryan. This is another beautiful example of the stuff you do.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate
it. Pretty badass, man.
You know what's good about our art in all mediums? There's no rules. There's no set rules. Figure if you want to try something, try it. But I go trial by error. I experiment a lot with tools. I make my own tools. I just try stuff. And then you look at like when I first started, you look at other guys' carvings when I started, and I tried to figure out how they did that fur pattern or how they made that feather. And then I just sit around, piss around, and make up my own ways and come up with my own styles, I guess.
Well, you're doing a hell of a job.
Ryan, do you use a lot of Dremel, like kind of smaller Dremel tools? Or do you use like hand chipping tools, like like carving with a hammer and a chisel?
No, just Dremels and die grinders.
Okay. Wow.
I've got something that's called a pencil. It's like a pencil
that won't
grinder.
work on wood.
What do you mean it won't work on wood?
It's made of wood.
I'll be the judge of that. No, it's a grinder, but all the bits, you hold it like a pencil, and all the bits are pointed. And they I don't know. I bought it a year ago because I was going to carve a stump in my backyard, and I was going to get real detailed, kind of like what you do. And then I was just like, you know what? I ain't got time for that. It's like that fear of like, what if I screw it up? What if I screw it up on the first try? I can't even move that log. Too big to even burn. Fuck it, I'm just gonna carve a squash now.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for carving.
All right, so I told you 90 minutes went fast, right, Ryan?
That flies, yeah. Especially when I could start hearing you guys, man.
Thank God for technology.
Yeah, we're a slave to technology, but we definitely want to have you back at some point because we've got to see your workspace. We went crazy for all the WWF figures and the He-Man figures, so we definitely got to have you back. I'm gonna FedEx you a laptop so we can get this going. Right? What do you say?
Yeah, absolutely. My daughter's a big what kind of animation? The Japan anime.
Oh,
yeah, she's big. Yeah, she's huge in anime. So I think she got into some sites and the computer just crashed.
It's all good. Yeah. It's all good. But we'll definitely have you back. We wanted to go around the horn and see what everybody's carving. So, Paul, what do you got?
I got about this much more than I had last time you checked in on me.
I don't know. It's looking a lot different than the last time I saw it.
I'm just gonna keep pushing it in until this comes out. There's gonna be some adding on this one. So I just gotta figure out exactly what direction I want to go. I have a couple different ideas, but for now I'm just gonna keep roughing like Ryan said, finding shadows, trying to find the right points. Still a lot of shaping to go. It's real thick though. It's got plenty of meat on it. I can push in probably another half inch, 3/4 of an inch.
Nice. Looks cool.
Nice.
It looks a little bit like Squidward from
from SpongeBob.
From SpongeBob.
Who's been stung by a bee?
Yeah.
He's allergic. Does anybody have an EpiPen?
EpiPen. Somebody, please.
What do you got, Matt?
So this is my guy. I'll see if I can.
I love that expression.
So he's perplexed. So his eyes are going to say a lot about how he is actually thinking. This is teeth. I'm thinking like some jagged teeth coming up over some other jagged teeth. Like, huh? Like that kind of thing. So still some work to do. And I think the nose is going to be more demonic. I might dig in a little bit more and make him like these little slit nostrils, like some kind of a, I don't know, something.
No, I like it. That's a good idea with the demonic nose.
The other thing I'm thinking is I cut big pieces out of another one that I tried.
Just some ear.
Like some kind of like, devil ears or and then I got to use Ryan's technique of getting it nice and flat and planed so that I can get them on, carve them up, get some earrings in them, because I think that awesome, this demon needs earrings.
What comes to mind with those ears would be, what comes to mind with ears for him would be like bat wing ears with kind of burnt holes through his ears. You know what I mean?
Yeah, And Maddie, you take the punch. You can actually take the punch to start that hole and then really shape the hole.
Yeah. So he's got work. He's got work coming still, but yeah, he's on the way.
No, I like it.
And he'll be perplexed. I promise you. This is going to be a very confused set of eyes here.
Well, don't go full perplexed because he's supposed to be befuddled.
Oh, he's befuddled. Befuddled. Yeah. Okay, but befuddled. I'll go less perplexed, more befuddled.
You can be befuddled while you do it.
I am currently.
Well, if you want to see more of Ryan's work, check out his Instagram. But actually, if you want to commission him, go to his Facebook, I guess.
Yeah, right.
Either or.
Yeah. Is there any other place that we can see you? I saw that. I think you actually have one, but it actually just shows more of your carvings and commissions. I actually can put that up here. But is there anywhere else that we can see your work or buy your work or?
I've got Ryan Villiers on Facebook, Ryan Villiers on Instagram, Villiers Wildwood on Facebook. That's my business page, and that's the same as my web page. So Villiers, then Wild, WYLD, Wood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, check that out.
And don't hold a running chainsaw the way he is right now.
Yeah. No, did you notice this, or is it just me?
That's just you. I've never thought of it.
And so I'm like, oh my god, like he's holding it. And I was like, oh my god, he's actually holding it. It's
not running, Mickey. Don't worry. He'll be all right.
I was more afraid for you than obviously you were for yourself. So like that's.
I'd be afraid for the chainsaw.
So good, so good. Well, this is where you can find us. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. Thank you again. It's been a pleasure. I mean, these shows just get better and better all the time. And Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. We'll definitely have you back. I think you're our third Canadian on the show. Yeah. So we have an international interview crew that we'll definitely touch back with. So
wait, Michael, Mickey, we had cake. We had a cake Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? We had a face paint Canadian.
Yeah.
And now we have a wood carving Canadian. So we're basically international at this point.
That's it.
That's
it.
Dude, when Canadian Food Network comes out with that show, I think we got the all-star team.
100%.
Hell yeah.
100%.
Having me, I feel pretty honored and humbled, guys. It was fun. I just wish my audio was better for the first half.
No way, man.
It's okay.
That's the fun of the show, right? There's always something to deal with. But hey, it all worked out. It always does, man. Thank you for joining us. It's unbelievable. Your work is unbelievable.
Thank you very much.
We're honored to have you.
Once we're done here, I'm going to follow each and every one of you. I took a screenshot there.
There you go.
Right on. Well, hang out right there. For everybody else, we're going to sign off. Join us next Thursday. We're going to be here at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern for another Carvers and Creators. Join us then. Good night, everyone. Take care.
Good night, everybody.